However, they try to influence him by having various wise people, advisors, and so he guides them according to the advice of the advisors. So the king himself can't really do what he wants. Just it's what really the leaders of the people. It's a sort of a mix between a leadership of a singular leader with a type of an oligarchy that there are certain lower leaders that he has to answer to. It seems that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't want such a manik. That if it was necessary for the leader to follow the rulings of the people that he's leading, is not really a leader. Seems that Moshe Rabbeinu wanted a leader that it says that they go out in front of them and not according to commands that comes from the people that they bring themselves. Rather, he himself is the one who brings in and out. And it's not according to a type of democracy and the desires that people have, which comes with the Ruach Hazman, that a zeitgeist which changes. And so the Ksav Sofer is saying this, that there's more to say, but it's easy to understand. It seems, though, that that's not what the Rebbeinu Shalom wanted. That meaning when Moshe Rabbeinu, even though I'm not necessarily that's how the Ksav Sofer is learning this, but so of course, the Rebbeinu Shalom, with his Hashgacha Pratis, understood that there needs to be a balance of all things. And therefore, there's a balance between things that to go to one side and to the other, similar to what I said by the Shloshim, that when you say Shmuel Hanavi was Shokol Keneged Moshe Vaharon, that it was not that he was equal to the two of them, because Migo Moshe, but rather that he balanced those two worlds. And so similarly, to go too far, to have a dictator, if the dictator is someone who goes away from Torah, there's no point. It's only damage from such a dictatorship. And if there's true nevuah and so forth, so then everyone will be in haskama and agree altogether. Along these lines, I saw a very fascinating story that one of the people that our Rav Harini Kaparis Mishkava is Chusi Galeno, that we lost recently in his youth, in the house where he grew up, was legendary that his mother, who was an almana, very young almana, ran Hachnasis Orchim, that was known to be the highest level of kashrus in Yerushalayim in all of Chicago, and so all the Gedolei Ador, when they came to Chicago, knew that there was a place to stay. So it wasn't on this trip, it was a subsequent trip. Among the Gedolim that were there by our Rav's house, his childhood home in Chicago, was the Rebbe Rayatz, the Friediger Lubavitcher Rebbe. So at his previous trip before that time, where it was Lubavitcher Rebbe also visited Chicago, but he also visited Philadelphia. And when he came to Philadelphia, they gave him such kibudim that as Ein L'Shayr, especially in its Shayach that we're coming now to 4th of July to mention these things. They had a chair there, I believe it's still there, in the Liberty Hall. That is a chair that belonged to George Washington, and that when the Capitol was in Philadelphia for a time, that's where he sat and oversaw all the matters. And nobody was allowed to ever sit in that chair, George Washington's chair. Who did they let? The heads of the city, when they saw the big crowd that came to see the Rebbe Rayatz, and they understood that only 2 years earlier, this was in 1929, 1927, he was freed from the horrors of the communists who were about to kill him, and he was freed from prison, and so he was someone who represented the cause of liberty. They gave him that tremendous cover to allow him to sit in George Washington's chair. And then also that he should put a wreath by the Liberty Bell, which is also, that was a more no one else before him did they let sit in George Washington's chair, but to lay a wreath by the Liberty Bell, that was a little bit more common, that there were certain people that were given such a covet because they represented the cause of liberty as he did by being freed from communists. And Koblentzer Rebbe, what did he say? Only a few brief words when he did that. It's recorded in the newspapers at the time that only freedom that's rooted in faith and religion is true freedom and true liberty. And so that is why, with the Ksav Sofer is bringing out here, when we're looking for a manig, if it's rooted in Torah and Yerushalayim, then there's nothing to be worried about, and everyone will be in Haskama there. But when one side or the other is from the cause of Torah and Yerushalayim, it's going to be unbalanced. Sorry from that. So we should all be Zoiche in the and with Hakaras HaTov, the Rebbeinu Shalom, for 250 years of liberty in this great land, and that the example that was shown throughout all the world, that was rooted in Torah. If we know the founders of this country, they quoted our Torah more than, not only than, they actually quoted Sefer Dvarim, Mishnah Torah, but on the Liberty Bell is from Vayikra, from Parshas Bahar, but they quoted our Chumash, not only than other sacred books, but than any other books in the world. So the roots of this country are in Torah and Yerushalayim, and we vinshun that it should continue ad bias Geld Tzedek, and that we all together should be able to fulfill our role as a light unto the nations, and that we should keep up the memory of our holy Rabbi.